responsibility, but insuring against loss and protection from serious harm, which are covered by the buyback scheme, could also be considered to be a private responsibility. And I'd like to suggest that creating a fund to help people with landslips would not necessarily create a precedent. If this was the case, then the buyback scheme itself could be considered to be creating a precedent. And I've always regarded that as being a discrete decision of council to affect affected citizens. With the ongoing threats of supersized storms because of climate change, I'm afraid these damaging storms will become more and more common. And council may reach a stage in the future where it decides it cannot provide any further assistance to citizens affected. And that's why the country needs a national adaptation plan and a climate adaptation fund. They're vital, and clearly that needs to be done by central government. But for now, we have a situation where one group, homeowners with safety threats, are being offered assistance, but another group, homeowners with degraded access to their property, are not. And I would like to suggest that that distinction is an anomaly and one that I believe needs to be addressed. The scheme generally is to help our neighbours move on from traumatic and dramatic event and get on with their lives, but there are some who, because of an administrative distinction, are prevented from doing so. I note the cautious suggestion that $5 million be set aside, and I understand this will be discussed by councillors. The local board fully supports the creation of this fund, and in terms of its expenditure, we believe it's logical for AT to be the ones to spend the money, but that's for further discussion. We don't believe this creates a precedent, and in some situations, for instance, a slip on Pataroa Road in Titirangi, we consider that there is a benefit for council funding this work so that a stability compromised area is strengthened so that no future slips can occur. Up on screen, I've asked Section 8 of the Waitaki Ranges Heritage Area Act to be placed. The Heritage Area Act recognises that we live in a special area, and it requires us as council to protect and restore and enhance a beautiful yet fragile area. Council is required to restore and enhance degraded landscapes, and it's also required to recognise that people live and work in the area in distinct communities, and to enable those people to provide for their social, economic, environmental and cultural well-being. We believe that assisting affected residents, as is suggested in the paper, is a logical extension of council fulfilling its objectives under the Act. We fully support the creation of the fund, and we also believe that the case management service could be of assistance to locals and support that as well. Those are my comments. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Greg. Any questions? None. Well done. That's a sign of a good presentation, probably. But thank you, Greg, and appreciate the local board's interest and commentary on this. Someone like to move a vote of thanks. Thanks, Greg. Seconder, Ken. Those in favour say aye, and against, carried. Thanks, team.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, councillors.
Next item, we have no extraordinary items, so we move on to item 8, and that is NZTA update. And so welcome up Steve Mutton. Hand over to you, Steve. Great to see you here.
Thank you, Chair. It's always good to be here, and I'd just like to introduce to you Rachel Heron. Rachel's the Principal Advisor at the Comms and Engagement team in our Auckland and Northland office. So the Government Policy Statement 2024 sets a very clear agenda about what the government actually wants to achieve in land transport, and it's about boosting economic growth and productivity, resilience, reliability and safety. And with a record investment in Auckland of $8.4 billion over the next 3 years, there's certainly a lot to do, but we need to also celebrate the benefits from those projects that have recently been completed. And that's what I want to talk to you today is around Aratahunai, the Pūhoira Walk. It's been open for just over a year now.